الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وإمام المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. This is the Matan Al-Zubad, the quintessence, and it is from Imam Ahmad ibn Raslan al-Shafi'i, who died in 844 after the Hijrah. It's a famous text, poem that was traditionally memorized, and it contains an introductory section on Usuluddin or belief, and it also contains sections on all the essentials of fiqh. So it's a comprehensive poem of about 1400 lines that my teachers in Saudi, when I studied, memorized, and from the memorized text then you learn the fiqh. So this is a sharh, this is an explanation of the poem in about 500 pages that explains for each of the verses what it actually covers. So what I want to do tonight is introduce the poem and the author, mu'allif, and a basic translation of some of the introductory lines for it. Ibn Raslan was born in Ramla in Palestine in the year 733 after Hijrah and was raised there. His full name was Ahmad ibn Hussein ibn Hassan ibn Raslan, the head of the Sufi and Sharia scholars of his time. He journeyed to take knowledge and to hear, studying the traditional matter, hadith from all of the scholars, from them Ibn al-Ala. He took Nahu from Ibn Haim and from Al-Amadi and Muhib al-Fasi. He took fiqh from Ibn Haim and Ibn al-Kharabari and received ijazah to make fatwa from Qadi al-Qudah, the judge of the judges, Shihab al-Ba'uni. And he traveled the ancient path of the Sufis with seriousness and exertion until he became a beacon of guidance to travelers on the Sufi path and for worshippers of Allah Most High, an imam who was to be followed. And he was greatly loved in the hearts of the people, and this love was his fruit. He was the greatest of the people of his age to follow the prophetic sunnah and to follow the athar, the traces, the steps of Sayyidina al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he guarded himself in this as much as was possible in both the details and the greater matters of the Sunnah. And he kept himself to the best sayings and works. He distributed his time among various acts of worship, standing in prayer, fasting, writing, and benefiting others. I translated a short biography from this text, and this is the text that I carried with me to memorize. Attempt to memorize, but this is the short bio that was in the beginning. His writings, and from his writings, a poetic composition on the sciences of the Quran and their explanation, and poetry on 3 of the recitations from the 10 recitations and their explanation, and an exegesis of the Sahih of Al-Bukhari and the Sunan of Abi Dawood and the Minhaj of Al-Baydawi. He also completed works on the Adhkar of Imam al-Nawawi, of the Alfiya of Al-Iraqi, and the Hadith of Ibn Abi Jamrah. And he summarized the Rawda and Al-Minhaj and omitted the areas where there was disagreement. And he wrote beautiful poetry that was very pleasing. Other than this, that he completed, as well as works that he did not complete. He moved to Bayt al-Maqdis, Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, and lived there until he died there in Sha'ban of the year 844 after Hijrah. And the miracles manifested through him to the people of Ramla and Al-Quds, Jerusalem, and those around these 2 cities that were witnessed by innumerable witnesses were manifold. May Allah have mercy upon him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The author of this explanation starts with a quote from the Quran, and this is the quote from the Quran. قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. And this is the angels' reply to Allah Azza wa Jal. And these beautiful words, they said, Subhanaka, glory to you. La ilma lana, we have no knowledge. Illa ma alamtana, except for what you have taught us. Innaka anta al-alim wal-hakim. Surely you are omniscient, the wise. So the first two verses, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi dil jalali wa sha'i al-harami wal halali. So these are the first two opening, and traditionally we say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah, and you'll see in all these poems that that's the format in the beginning. So all praise to God, the possessor of majesty, and the lawgiver of the forbidden and the lawful. Alhamdulillahi dhil jalali wa sha'i al-harami wal halali. Excuse me. Thumma salatullahi ma'a salami ala nabiyyi al-Mustafa al-Tihami. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm sorry. Then peace and with benedictions upon the Prophet al-Mustafa al-Tihami. Tiham is a region in Hijaz. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad al-Hadi min al-Dalali wa afdal al-Sahbi wa khayr al-Ali wa khayri Ali. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the guidance from delusion, from being astray, and his excellent companions and the best family. وبعد هذه الزبة نظمتها أبياتها أثن بما قد زدتها. And then this Zubad has been made in systematic form of poetry, نظمتها. Its verses are 1,000 and what has been added to it, about 1,400 lines. And this next line should make you think about the difference in human knowledge of human capacity for learning, and how that this has been forgotten by most people, that we don't know how much we could push ourselves to realize our potential intellectually and in many other ways. So this is what he says, Ibn Raslan rahimahullah. يسهل حفظها على الأطفال نافعة للمبتدئ الرجال. He says, it is easy to memorize for children, these 1,400 lines. Easy to memorize for children. Okay? So he's saying this is something your children should be able to learn. Okay? يسهل حفظها على الأطفال, on children. It's easy. But it's also beneficial نافعة للمبتدئ الرجال, for those who begin, beneficial for beginners in the study of fiqh and iman.
Why is it easy? Huh?
Because, Omar, most of the, say, traditionally in Islamic education, you would memorize poetry, you would memorize like in the Quran. Many people, sheikhs, you've met, they memorized the Quran before they were 10 or 11, entire 500 pages, right? But they didn't just memorize Quran, you memorized hadith, you memorized books that would teach you your fiqh and your belief, okay? And because they were focused people, okay, their priorities were straight, and the education was made so that it realized the potential in human beings, the potential of the intellect. While most of us, we spend most of our lives distracted, not focused at all. Not focused at all. Not applying ourselves as we could apply ourselves. And if you go around the people of knowledge, they don't do that. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Alhamdulillahi dhil jalali wa sha'i al-harami wal halali. Thumma salatullahi ma'a salami ala nabiyyi al-Mustafa al-Tihami. Muhammad al-Hadi min al-Dalali